Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video on forgotten weapons. I'm Ian McCollum and I'm here today at Morphy's with a Smith Wesson Pinto. Not familiar with the Pinto? Well, it's tiny and from there you can't see it at all. So let's just jump straight into getting a closer look at this. Pintos are a breed of horse, the name comes from painted in Spanish, that are distinctive for having splotches of mixed color, some white and some brown and black on them. And that's exactly where the name for this guy comes from. A Pinto is typically a revolver, typically a J, K, or L frame revolver, although not exclusively. There's some Smith & Wesson Model 39 or Model 59 semi-autos that fit this bill as well, but it's one that comes from the factory with a frame in one finish and a barrel and cylinder in the other finish. Now, the most typical way that you see these is actually with a blued frame and a nickeled cylinder and barrel, but sometimes they're done the reverse, like this one. Smith & Wesson has been shipping guns like this since at least the 1950s. This particular one left the factory in 1972. And originally, guns were sold like this simply because the factory had an overrun of parts of one finish or the other from a production run. And there's no point in throwing those parts out. And if you don't want to wait around to get another batch of either frames or barrels and cylinders, well, you go ahead and just assemble them as mixed finish guns. And that kind of took on a niche collector's life of its own, with people giving them the name Pinto from the horses and taking a real particular interest in them. Now, you can get a factory letter from Smith & Wesson documenting how a gun shipped from the factory. That will include details like the finish, the barrel length, the caliber, and so on. And so to properly authenticate a Pinto, you really, most of the time, you pretty much have to get a factory letter on it to confirm that it wasn't assembled in this configuration after the fact. Actually, it's kind of funny. This particular gun has a factory letter, but the letter gets the finish backwards. It says that it's a blued frame and a nickeled barrel and cylinder. So for the collector of Pintos, that's actually, I think that would be a particularly cool sort of detail to have, to get one that's factory authentic, but has a backwards letter. It's like the upside down Jenny of the Smith & Wesson Pinto world. I am occasionally asked by people, what sort of guns should I get? What should I collect? And my answer always is, you should get the things that you like, the things that interest you. Don't take someone else's advice for what's worth collecting or not. And so, while something like this is definitely not the sort of gun I would collect, it would be incredibly hypocritical of me to say that people shouldn't. I think it's actually one of the great diverse elements of the firearms collecting community, that there are people who are interested in everything from military heavy machine guns to factory mixed finish Smith & Wesson revolvers. So, as a famous man once said, some people juggle geese. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one, whether you are a fan of Pintos yourself and got a chance to take a look at a nice one, or if it's an introduction to a brand new term you never heard of. Thanks for watching.